Hey everyone, my name is Mars, like the planet, and this is Housewarming. As you can tell by the title of this video, it has been 1 year since my last binge. I just wanted to talk to you guys today very candidly, just kind of to talk about my eating disorder recovery. I have been struggling with an eating disorder, more specifically a binge eating disorder, since about 2020. And so I just wanted to kind of make this video because while it is important when you have addiction issues or mental health issues to celebrate the wins, it's also important to realize that recovery is not linear. And I understand that talking about having an eating disorder, having a binge eating disorder is very embarrassing. It's very shameful. It's something that a lot of people just don't want to talk about because you basically are admitting that you don't have self-control. Being a plus size person, it's even more embarrassing. I think a lot of times when people hear eating disorders, they immediately think about anorexia, bulimia, things like that. They don't really think about the opposite side of it, where people are eating until they can't anymore, where people feel this guilt around eating too much. And it's just really hard talking to people about that because of course people aren't going to understand. Of course people want to try to provide like tips and help you. But you know, when you are struggling with what is a food addiction, it is almost impossible to get over it. And once you feel like you have gotten over it, you are basically on a very slippery slope. A lot of times when people are dealing with substance abuse issues, whether it's addiction to substances or alcohol, you can be sober, you can cut out, drinking, you can cut out the drugs, but when it comes to food, you have to eat. So there is a very fine balance between that. So today, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about where I'm at, what I've been dealing with. I think that it's important to make this type of, content and post it out there because I want people to know that they're not alone. I want people that look like me, that are dealing with the same things that I am, know that they are not alone. So yeah, let's just get into it. I have posted a video on my channel before, but if you are coming into this brand new, briefly, I will describe how I, developed an eating disorder or a binge eating disorder. I have been plus size my entire life. I am 5'10". I am 250 pounds. I was born big. I was 9 pounds, 5 ounces. So I've always been bigger. I have always been plus size. I've always taken up space. I have never really had a problem with eating as much where it was an issue until I decided to start losing weight. I'd heard about a diet called intermittent fasting, and in 2020 I decided to start intermittent fasting. If you don't know what that is, basically it is what it is called. It is fasting during different periods of the day. So there are people that may fast and only eat during a certain time. So they may eat for example, 6 a.m. to noon, and that is their eating window. That is the only time that they are allowed to eat, and the rest of the day and night they are fasting. This is a diet that a lot of people have used because you're not restricting calories, you're not restricting carbs, you are just restricting your eating window. And I thought that this was perfect for me, but little did I know this restriction would cause me to develop a binge eating disorder. Basically what would happen was I started, out fine. I started losing weight, but because I was only eating, for example, between 6 a.m. and 12 p.m., I would start stuffing my face and engorging myself with food. I would start eating everything under the sun. And if you can think about it, if you knew that that was your only window to eat, you would start eating as much as you could too, almost like a bear going into hibernation. And my brain chemistry started to change. I started to think that this made sense. If you are someone that has struggled with addiction, if you are someone that has struggled with mental health issues or an eating disorder like me, you know that your brain will play tricks on you and make you become delusional. You know that your brain will continue to make you believe that what you are doing is correct. So I started to believe that it was normal to be eating a copious amount of food between 6 a.m. and noon. I thought that this was all normal. I was eating ice cream and cake and all kinds of things because I was so restricted in my eating window, and I developed a binge eating disorder. Now I have my full story linked down below if you really want to check it out. But basically in 2020, I, it kind of was 2019, but 2020 was really when I realized there was a problem. I started to develop anxiety around eating. I became what I call an opportunist eater. I could not pass up an opportunity to eat. Whether I was stuffed or I was famished, I was going to take the opportunity to eat. If there was cake in the break room at work, if a friend had just invited me out to eat, if there was someone saying, hey, I don't want the rest of this, do you want it? I would always say yes. I felt like it was my last meal, like it was the last supper. I had to eat it. And I just started to eat whether I was full and my stomach hurt, I would still eat it because I did not like wasting food. I did not like missing the opportunity to eat. And it became so shameful. It became so guilty. And then the binges started. I started to eat a copious amount of food till I was hurting. I started to just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And my brain kept saying, this is normal. This makes sense. I would constantly try to move the goalpost for myself. I'd say, okay, I'll only have one bag of chips. Okay, all right, fine. I'll have 2 bags of chips. Okay, fine. I'll just eat the whole thing. I'll just eat everything. Sorry, my dog is playing. But anyways, I would eat, so much food, and my brain would continue to delude me that this was normal. I would continue to set boundaries for myself and then blow past them. I would say, okay, I'll eat bad today, but then tomorrow I'll really kind of tighten up. Tomorrow I'll start, eating a little bit better. And then tomorrow would come and I would start the same thing all over again. So I will say that at this time I was also struggling with social anxiety. I was struggling with depression as well. I had a lot going on in my life, outside and inside my head. I think that is typical with people who have addiction, who have mental health issues, is that there are a lot of things working at one time. It's not just one isolated thing. So at this time, this was about 2021, 2022, I did start to go on medication. I did start to see a therapist, not for an eating disorder, but for my anxiety. I have posted many videos in the past talking about my journey with my mental health, with having anxiety, with talking to a therapist, with being on Lexapro. And while I will say that this had nothing to do with my eating disorder, because my therapist was not, versed in eating disorders, this kind of helped silence the rest of the noise. Because I was dealing with so many mental health issues, I really couldn't focus on handling my eating disorder. So once I got on Lexapro, once I got on, antidepressants, I was really able to calm the rest of my brain. I was able to stop the social anxiety. I was able to stop the depression. I was able to stop the delusions. And that kind of gave me space to deal with my eating disorder. Now, once again, it is not a linear process. Once again, it is not from point A to point B. There is not a YouTube video that you can watch to cure your eating disorder. But I will say that once I didn't have the anxiety and the depression and all of that clouding up my brain, and I just had the eating disorder to focus on, I could kind of tackle it head on. So the first thing I did was I really tried to set up rules, not restrictions, for myself when it came to eating. My biggest issue was if I saw it, I was going to eat it. I had to make sure that I was not bringing in Coke and candy and snacks and treats into my house. Anytime I made a grocery order, anytime I was bringing in food into my house, it had to be food for dinner. It had to be food for breakfast. It could not be snacks, because I knew if I brought in a bag of chips, that bag of chips was going to be gone in an hour. There was no way I could say, okay, I'll save that for, another day. There was no way that was going to happen. So that was kind of the first rule. I had to take baby steps because, once again, I did not want to start restricting myself. I had to make sure I set up rules for myself. So the first rule was I was not going to bring snacks inside of the house. And I do think that was a big catalyst to get me to stop binge eating, because I'm not going to be binge eating on carrots. I'm not going to be binge eating on chicken. I'm really going to be binge eating on those salty and sweet snacks. And once they weren't in the house, that really kind of helped me. I also had to be vocal with my friends. I had to be vocal with my partner. I had to be vocal with people around me and tell them the truth and say, hey, I know we love going out to eat. I know we love, getting snacks together. I know we love getting dessert together, but I have an eating disorder. And if you ask me, I'm going to say yes. So please do not ask me to go out to eat. Do not ask me if I want your leftovers. Do not ask me, hey, I brought you this snack. Do you want it? Because I'm going to say yes. I had to sit down and I had to really be honest with the people around me. And it's hard. It's embarrassing to tell people I have no self-control, so please don't tempt me. It is very, very hard. But if you have people around you that love you and support you, they will understand. But trust me, it is so embarrassing to say that out loud, that you have an eating disorder and you have a binge eating disorder. It is just so embarrassing to say that to someone. But I had to do it, and I had to get the people around me to stop offering me food. And that really, I will say, kind of contributed to me stop binge eating. Do I still have a binge eating disorder? Yes, but that kind of stopped me from binging. Now, after that, I will say that me going to the gym, me keeping busy, really was what was the next step. I had to make sure I was keeping busy at work, because that was a place where if I started to get bored at work, if I started to not have anything to do, I'm going hunting for food. I'm walking around the office, I'm looking for food, I'm looking for things to do, I'm looking for the vending machine. I had to keep myself busy. I, started a YouTube channel, I started an Etsy account, I started, playing games, I started talking to friends, I started making sure that my entire day was filled with things to do. So I did not have time to be bored and start stuffing my face with food. So I do think also joining a gym, I go to Planet Fitness. I think that once I kind of got over my social anxiety, going to the gym also really helped me get out of the house and not be around food or temptation. Once I kind of established that routine, once I kind of told my friends, once I didn't have the food in the house, I really felt like I was setting myself up for success. Now, it has been a year since I have binged, but I am still struggling with an eating disorder. I will say that I am on a very, very slippery slope when it comes to eating. I cannot have restrictions at all. I have to make sure I am setting myself up for success. For example, I have to let myself eat junk food. I am not going to be that person that's like, oh, I'm doing the water diet. Oh, I'm doing the no carb diet. Oh, I'm not letting myself have sweets. I cannot have restrictions when it comes to my diet, because I will find a way to delude myself into eating those things. I love eating donuts. Why would I restrict myself from eating them? So I made sure on my calendar every Friday on the way to work, I get 2 glazed donuts every single Friday. So I know that I don't have to binge eat on Monday. I don't have to binge eat donuts on Wednesday. I know on Friday, I'm getting 2 glazed donuts no matter what. And that is something that I had to add to my calendar. Anytime that I have a friend ask me to go out to eat, I will make sure I look at the menu beforehand, and I will make sure I'm picking out exactly what I want to eat, because I have to be prepared. I cannot just show up to a restaurant and have an entire menu of food in front of me with appetizers and dessert. I have to plan beforehand. I still struggle too. I am that person. If there is cake in the break room, I'm going to be the first in line. If there is, donuts in the break room, once again, I love donuts. I'm going to be first in line, but I still hold this level of shame and embarrassment around eating. It is really triggering to me when people make comments about my eating. If they're saying, oh yeah, you must have liked that. You ate really fast, or, oh yeah, Mario going back for seconds, or, oh, I know you like to eat. People, especially living in Southern Louisiana, especially living in the South, when all we do is eat for things. If it's your birthday, if it's a holiday, we're going to eat. People will almost take it as an insult if you're not eating their food. And that's really, really hard when you are struggling with an eating disorder. You don't want to say in the middle of a party, I'm sorry, I have an eating disorder, I cannot eat this. It's very embarrassing. So I really am still triggered sometimes by people's comments. And I know they don't mean any harm. I know that they're not trying to hurt me. And these people that are making these comments are not my friends. They're, like my coworkers or people that just don't know what I'm going through. But it does still hurt. It does still trigger me. I am still embarrassed to be seen eating. Anytime I am, wanting to get a little sweet treat, anytime I'm wanting to treat myself or eat, I feel a sense of shame. I don't want to tell people, yeah, I did eat a cheesecake. I don't want to tell people, yeah, I did get myself, a sweet treat, because I feel like somehow people are keeping tabs on the amount of food that I'm eating. I also know that I'm a bigger person. So I know that I just look different when I'm eating compared to a skinnier person. I know that people kind of see that as like, oh, I don't have any self-control, and oh, I'm gaining weight. Like all of these things, get into my head, and it does fill me with a lot of shame and a lot of guilt still to this day about food. It's still literally yesterday I was feeling guilty about the food that I was eating, because I have this sense of wanting to eat in private. I just don't want to be seen eating. I'm fine if I'm going out to eat at a restaurant, but if people who know me know that I am, not eating well or not eating good, if people who know me and who are close to me and know that I have a binge eating disorder and know like, oh girl, I don't know if you should be eating that, like that really fills me with a lot of guilt and shame. So it is still very hard for me to kind of talk about that, but I hope this makes sense. I hope I'm not rambling. I really do hope this makes sense, because when you say it out loud, it almost just sounds delusional. Like, I know that there are normal people who literally don't care about this at all, but I am a person that is literally like, okay, did she see me eat this donut? Like, I want to make sure, like, I don't know. I can tell it sounds crazy when I say it out loud, but like, that is what it's like having a binge eating disorder. Not only are you binging and you don't have self-control around what you're eating, but you're also just like delusional around the idea of eating. I will say though that I am much better than the day that I started. I will say that once again, this journey is not linear at all. As of today, I am not on Lexapro anymore. I am not on medication. I am not in therapy. I have thought about seeing a nutritionist. I have thought about seeing a dietitian, but I really just think that I am not mentally there yet. Also, I forgot to mention that like, I go to the gym at least 3 to 4 times a week, but I am not going to the gym to lose weight. That is a whole other thing, is losing weight. I can't lose weight. I will get so like, I don't even know how to describe it. I will be so delusional when it comes to losing weight. Like, let me explain to you guys. Like, if I lose 2 pounds, I would be like, oh my gosh, like I lost 2 pounds. I deserve to treat myself. Like I deserve, a donut and cookies and cake. Like I deserve all kind of snacks because I lost 2 pounds. And then I'll gain the weight back. And then I'll be like, oh my God, I need to restrict myself because now I've gone overboard. I need to restrict myself, again. And then I'll lose 2 more pounds and I'm like, oh, I lost 2 pounds. I should go out and treat myself. And it's that cycle over and over and over again. Like, I feel crazy saying it out loud, but that's literally how I view losing weight. Like, I still weigh myself every single day because I am obsessed with knowing how much I weigh, but I have to just let go of the idea that I am not going to be skinny. I have to let go of the idea that I'm not going to be 100 pounds. There are so many accounts out there that I've had to block because I cannot look at people being like, this is how you get ripped. You need to do 100 push-ups and you need to do curls. And if you think walking on the treadmill is going to help you lose weight, it's not. I've just had to get rid of that because if I go to the gym with the mentality of trying to lose weight, I just can't do it. You have to understand this cycle of I'll go to the gym, I'll try to work out really hard, I'll step on the scale, I'll say, oh my gosh, I haven't lost any weight. I need to restrict myself. I start restricting myself. I try to lose the weight. Then I swing back in the other direction. Then I start binging. And then it's just a hot mess. Like, I really cannot. It is just a hot mess when it comes to trying to lose weight with having a binge eating disorder. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I feel like I'm just like not making any sense. But all that to be said, I really just like have to go to the gym just to move my body, just to get out of the house. I have really had to make sure that I am blocking any type of gym content on social media, any type of weight loss content, even seeing pictures of people that are like before and after. Like, I am so happy for them in their weight loss journey, but I can't look at it. I just can't. I still am not there yet to the point where I could actively try to lose weight. I know I have gained weight having a binge eating disorder. I know that it's maybe not the best for me, but I'm trying. I need to do baby steps because if not, I'm going to be sent back into a spiral again. So as far as weight loss, I'm not there yet. I can't do it. I know that I can prevent myself from binging a lot of food. I know that I am good when I have a schedule. I know that I am good when I do not have restrictions. But the second I have any type of restrictions on myself where it's like, oh, you have to work out for an hour every single day. You have to get 10,000 steps in. You can only have, 20 carbs a day. You have to get in 100 grams of protein. I can't do it. I just can't. I'm like, it's too much. It's too much like work. I can't do it. I'm on a slippery slope. So I really, like I said, I really hope that what I'm saying is making sense. I really hope that if you are out there and you are struggling, to know that like we're all out here struggling. There is never an answer. And I know that the answer to a binge eating disorder is to not lose weight and get ripped. I know that that is not a solution to a binge eating disorder. I know that a solution to a binge eating disorder, it's not, let me only eat 1 gram of carb a day. Let me only eat celery for the rest of my life. Let me be vegan and just eat seeds and nuts. Like, I know that that is not the solution to a binge eating disorder. I know it's just going to take time. And I really hope that this is not something I deal with forever. I really hope that, I can overcome this. But once again, it is just a very slippery slope. I have to understand that I need to take it slowly. I need to really take it slowly. I said that this year would be the year that I kind of overcame my eating disorder and I would start to lose weight. I will say that just the last week, I started drinking protein shakes. Now, this is not a diet, but I did start drinking protein shakes to try to up my protein. I'm drinking these protein shakes that I really like. They're like 30 grams of protein. And I have lost a little bit of weight, but I really can't even like process that. Because if I start to process that I'm losing weight, my brain's going to start to spiral all over again. And once again, I am not drinking these protein shakes to lose weight. I am drinking protein shakes because I do know that I need more protein in my diet. I think I'm just trying to have a more healthy outlook. I'm doing things because it makes me healthy, not because it makes me lose weight. I'm not doing things, because it's going to make me be skinny by, summertime. I'm not doing things because this is going to make me never binge again. I'm not doing this, for those reasons. I'm doing it because I need to be healthy. I need to take care of my body. I'm going to the gym because I need to move my body. I'm drinking protein shakes and making sure that I'm eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner because I want to take care of my body. And that's it at the end of the day. Whether I'm in a bigger body or a smaller body, I still need to take care of it, even though I'm dealing with a binge eating disorder. So I think that's kind of everything. I just kind of wanted to like ramble a little bit, although I know sometimes like my train of thought is a little bit all over the place. So I really hope that this makes sense, and I hope that this is reaching the right audience. And so if you are struggling, if you are dealing with this, like please know that we're all out here struggling, and that I really hope this video was helpful to you. I think I will continue to make update videos in the future because I am not healed. I am not perfect. I am not going to sit here and try to wrap a perfect bow onto this story and say, now I'm perfect, now I'm fixed. This was the one thing I did, and now I'm skinny and beautiful and hot. Like, I just can't do that. It is not fair to me or to you to sit here and lie, because I can't lie. I struggled yesterday. I'm probably going to struggle tomorrow, but I know that when I look back, I am still taking steps into the right direction. And it's okay if I mess up. It's okay if I falter, but I have to keep going in the right direction. So I think that does it for today's video. I really hope once again that you found it helpful. I'm sending you lots of love. I'm always ready to read y'all's comments down below. I will link my previous video describing my eating disorder in the description box down below. But I post new videos every single Wednesday, so I will see you guys next week. Bye.